progress.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to Mishna Berura, Daf Hashavua. We're learning holiest Kriyashma, Siman Ayin Tes. We're in the middle of Sif Aleph, where the Ramah. By the way, if you want to join us, we're going to be visiting the city of Krakow and the Ramah's Kever for Lag BaOmer, upcoming in about 2 weeks. So you could join us for that. The Ramah said, Hagash, Shliach Tzibur HaMispalel, if a chazan is davening v'tzoy beveis hakneses, and there's excrement in the shul, oy bebayis hamispalel somewhere in the house, afilu hu la'achrav b'chol habayis. Even if the tzoah is behind him in the house, tzarich lishtoik ad sheyitzenu. You have to be quiet. He has to be silent until it's removed. Me'achar shemoitzi rabbim yidei chayvasan, because he's being moitzi the rabbim their chiyuv. We're in Siman Ayin Tes in the Ramah and Sif Aleph. V'yi afshar shlo yeh echad min hakol b'soich arba amos shel hatzoya. It's inevitable, impossible that someone in the tzibur is not within 4 cubits of the tzoya. So you got the case, you have a chazan, he's being moitzi everyone the chiyuv, and what happens? The situation is there's tzoya in the shul, so he's got to stop until the tzoya is removed. Why? Because it's impossible that there isn't someone within 4 cubits of the tzoya. Says Rama, v'ayin lekaman Seif Siman Sadi, v'ayin lekaman Siman Peizayin, bedin tzoya b'bayis. Let's see the Mishnah Berura. Yesterday we saw Sif Katan Vav. If the Shliach Tzibur had to wait the amount of time it would take to complete the whole thing, and it was not within his 4 amos, he does not have to go back to the beginning. The Sif Katan Zayin, since he's being moitzi them with their chiyuv, right? Soloimar, dehava ki'ilu mispalo kol echad ata la'atzmai, because now it's as if each one is davening by themselves. What does that mean? It seems like that if there's tzoya in the house, it's going to cut off one of the people in the house, or it's going to cut off everyone, and it's going to be considered like everyone's davening themselves. So you say, well, what's wrong with that? Everyone nowadays does daven themselves. Says the Mishnah Berura, even though we are accustomed that everyone davens themselves, each yachid has to answer amen. Al berchas hashliach tzibur, but asar liyos tzoya lefanav. There can't be tzoya in front of him. I don't understand. If everyone's davening themselves, then of course you have to remove the tzoya, because a guy who's davening has tzoya in his daled amos. It seems like, let's say it's not a situation where everyone, let's say the chazan is being moitzi everyone, but if there's going to be tzoya in somebody's daled amos, he will not be able to answer amen. If the Shliach Tzibur is involved, is right now up to Psukei de Zimra. He's not being moitzi anyone. He could continue as long as he's outside of 4 amos from where the smell stops. Meaning, in the first case we're talking about where he's being moitzi the tzibur, let's say the berchas kriyashma where they have to answer amen. But if he's up to Psukei de Zimra, where he's not really being moitzi anyone, so as long as he's good to go, he could continue. If he's within 4 cubits of the tzoya, tzarich lishtak, he has to be silent. Even if he delayed to finish the whole thing, he only has to go back to the place where it stopped, where he stopped. The same thing would be in the Berchas Kriyashma. So this is whether he's in Psukei de Zimra or in the Birchas Kriya Shema. Aval b'Kriya Shema v'Tefillah b'Lachash, but in Shema or in Shemona Esrei, Hashoya Kidei Ligmar Kula, one who delays to finish the whole thing, May Rosh HaTefillah Atzaifa, V'Haya HaTzoah B'Tech Da'ad Amos, if the Tzoah was in the 4 Amos, Chayzel Rosh, he goes back to the beginning, Umesharin Lefi HaKoyrei, and you evaluate it based on the reader himself. Siv Katan Ches. The Rama said it's impossible that there's not someone within 4 Amos. If it happened that nobody's within 4 Amos, the Tzoah is interrupting, meaning, is the problem that somebody's within the Dalet Amos, or somehow the Tzoah creates a barrier? So Mishna Berura is going to say, even though the Tzoah is mafsik between them, they could turn around, so the Tzoah is not in front of them. The Asr Kamlai Einav, because Tzoah is Asr in the eye shot of somebody who's in its presence. We did have earlier that even if you can't see Tzoah could create a barrier. By the way, we also said if there's a avodah zara or an idolater in between, it would be an issue. So this is very interesting. In Siman Nun Hey, let's take a look back for a moment. In Siman Nun Hey Sivchaf, there was another factor that the Mishna Berura here is not really working with. Namely, here we're talking about, are you within 4 Amos of Tzoah? But the question is, does the Tzoah create a barrier? And in Sivchaf, in Siman Nun Hey, the Mechaber brings the Yesh Oimrim, that Yesh Oimrim, the Yesh Oimrim is the Maria Abuav, in the name of the Yerushalmi, that you can't have any hefsek of tino for avodas koichavim in between. Because hu mafsek bein hashchina v'gorm shel hashchina she'ena shoira bekan. By the way, the Taz says, therefore you should not have an avodah zara on the roof of a shul because it will prevent the tefillos from going up. L'maisa, the minhag is lahakel. You know, what if a shul on top of the roof has a satellite, you know, for improper media connection. So then what? The Taz would say that might be an issue. Anyway, this is a Yesh Oimrim. It doesn't sound like we have a definitive psak about this. Fine. Siv Katan Tes. Arba Amos, Rotzaloimar, Mimakim Shkala Reach. It's impossible that nobody's within 4 amos from where the smell stops. Tina Kishtin my basic knesses. If a child urinated, Gam ken yishtach hashech tzibor, v'yamtim ad sheyatil behen mayim. He should wait until you pour water, or yichasu, or you cover, or yachiku kol hakol mehem dalet amos. V'ayim hashkesam dver halacha dim hamei raglayim hayuchutz dalet amos sha'ashatz. If the meiraglayim was outside of 4 amos of the shatz, efsha the yesh lismach al svaras hamakilim she'in tzarch lahidia. It could be rely on the lenient opinion that you don't really have to tell him. Mikamakam yiru hakol esrachik or lechasus or lehato mayim. Nevertheless, the kol should distance or cover or put water. Otherwise, you would not be able to answer amen. Let's start Sif Beis. Let's say you are in a high place, 10 tfachim tall, or 10 tfachim low. Or if you were in one house, and the Tzoah was in another house. Afilu pesach pasuach. Even if the doorway is open, v'yoyshev b'tzida, you're sitting on the side. V'roya oisa im ein la reach. If there is no smell, yachal likrais. Why? Dekivan shu b'shus acheres karinam beishaper v'hoya machanecha kadosh l'harash. According to the Rush, if it's outside of your dalet amos, there's no inyan of lo yira b'cha ervas davar. The issue is v'haya machanecha kadosh, so it's permitted according to the Rosh. Again, we saw that it would still be a derabanan. But here the Mechaber is saying that according to the Rosh, it's okay, because according to the Rosh, the only issue that governs Tzoah is v'haya machanecha kadosh. This is a different machaneh. It's in a different bias. It's in a different room. Aval harajba, there's an issue here of what? Of V'layira b'cha ervas davar. Remember, we learned that the Rashba holds V'layira b'cha ervas davar applies to seeing Tzoah, and therefore it's only okay dafka k'shein aroya, only if you don't see it. V'im yesh la reach, if it has a smell, loy mahani afsaka, then even according to the Rashba, it's a problem. This hefsek is not going to work. It's not going to accomplish anything. V'loy shina rishus, the different domain is not going to do anything. Some say the chihechi dafsaka ma'elas l'tzay atzma, just like a hefsek helps for the tzay itself. Hachanami ma'elas l'reach rashala, it will likewise help for the bad smell. We will hold it over here. We will continue B'ez Hashem with the Mishnah on Sif Beis tomorrow. This week we're going to get together Friday, just to so we don't fall behind. Okay, but right now we're on schedule. So after Friday, we'll be ahead of schedule. Kol Tov, everyone. Have a great day. Kol Tov. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.